Now, I am getting ready to interview someone that I love so much, Mr. Art Chat Daddy Sims. He is Chicago's very own radio, TV, and print media personality, lifestyle expert on Daytime Chicago, voiceover artist, event host, master of ceremonies, event producer, and celebrity chef. Now, I don't think he ever cooked for me, but we're gonna have to see if we can change that. In 2009, he was recognized as a social dynamo, which he absolutely is, by Monarch magazine as one of Chicago's movers and shakers in the media world. And he was also inducted into the second edition of Who's Who in Black Chicago. I'm so excited about this interview. He's had me on his show so many times. He's been so supportive, and I love me some Art Chat Daddy Sims. So come on here and talk to us. Come on and talk to us.
Good morning. Hi. Happy November 1st. How are you?
I am great. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm actually recuperating from surgery. So you'll be the first interview that I've talked to anybody since coming out of surgery. So yeah, it's good to, I guess, talk to you and your audience this morning.
Yes, I am happy that you are here to talk to me. I did see some of your pictures. I was very concerned.
hmm
Yeah, and I'm sure that all of us that follow you were very concerned. So,
Yeah, the weirdest thing, a ruptured hernia, and it just kept snowballing into something else. But I'm all good. I'm on the mend. I'm at home, and glad to be here with you all this morning.
okay, I know your followers are glad to hear that. I'm sure there's a bunch of folks listening just because they knew that Art Chat Daddy Sims was going to be on the show today.
Oh, well,
So,
thank you, and congratulations on your new show, by the way.
oh, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited about it. We're growing and growing, and very quickly, as a matter of fact. So I'm extremely
hmm
excited about it. So I want
Good.
you to tell us about yourself. Where did you start this fabulous journey that you're on?
Ooh, I don't know which journey are we talking about.
Yeah.
I started the relationship chats 26 years ago in my living room. Seven different people from different walks of life were all in my living room, kind of talking about relationships, what they wanted from a relationship, what they needed. I told people to take your sexual preference, your race, all of that out of the mix, and just what do you want as a human from a relationship?
Mhm.
And that turned into moving to a coffee shop, that turned into moving from coffee shops to bigger venues. As a result of it, I've had 11 people get married, and they are still married to this very day.
Oh,
And I have not been in the relationship business in a few years. It's been a minute now, but that's how the Chat Daddy and the original Real Deal relationship chats got started. And the rest all kind of developed throughout the years. The radio, TV, media personality kind of developed throughout the years.
what made you even want to get into the relationship discussions?
Just I'm interested in people meeting people. How did you meet? How did you find each other? And we were at a period in life where black love was on the rise. Everybody was getting married, meeting somebody. It was all about black love and how can we come together? And unlike today where we are just so disconnected and disjointed in our relationships. And so I wanted people of all walks of life to be able to enjoy a healthy, loving relationship. And me being a member of the LGBTQ plus community, I was really curious to see, was there a big difference in straight relationships versus gay relationships? And really, there is no difference. If somebody's on some BS, they on some BS. I don't care whether gay, straight, black, white, whatever the case may be.
Yep, I've seen that up close too. I have many friends who are in that community, and man, you think that you have two women together, it's going to be a loving, nurturing type situation, and it could be violent and crazy. I was just like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but the funniest thing is, I understand women to have much healthier relationships with each other than men. That's maybe a whole nother show we need to talk about because I know three women now that are getting ready to get married to women, and these women were all straight at one point, had husbands and children. So look, maybe that's something we could talk about on down the road. I'm not trying to turn this show into that, but I think you and I could handle that somewhere down the road.
Oh yeah, we could definitely do that. I'm not even, I'm all good with that. So I would definitely love to have that conversation. That would be great. I wanted
Mhm.
to know, how did you get the name Chat Daddy?
A friend of mine who was a DJ at my events just dubbed me as the Chat Daddy. And that was a time when, you heard P. Diddy and, all of that. And he just made me Chat Daddy and it kind of stuck. And the funniest thing is now some people only know my name as Chat Daddy. They don't even know my government name. I have a neighbor now. I'm like, ma'am, I have a regular everyday name, not Chat Daddy. She'll do it in a heartbeat. And I'm like, ma'am, my name is really, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's all good. It's really it's amazing how you create something and you hope one day that it will stick. And now it has stuck. And you like, well, Chad is a whole look, I wish he had a different social security number, all of that. So yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny. I know that is definitely true for you, because sometimes when I was coming to do your show, I would say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do art show." And they'd be like, "Who is that?" I said, "Chat Daddy." They'd be like,
Right,
"Oh,
right,
okay."
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
they
So
have no idea who
that's
art is.
interesting. No, that's so funny. Mm-mm. So, but I'm grateful and appreciative that it is a name that, people do recognize and that type of thing. And it's cute, but it's just interesting to say the least, that people, I'm like, no, ma'am, I really do have a government name. How about that? How about that? Yes.
So tell me, what has been your proudest moment?
Oh my God, there have been many proud moments. I mean, from interviewing the late great Aretha Franklin
Oh
to
man.
being in close proximity to Oprah,
Oh,
to having a great close relationship with Ludacris's family. I mean, it's been just so many. For every high, there's been lows, but for every low, there's been incredible highs as well too. And just to be able to touch as many people as I've been able to touch and talk to as many people, a lot of times just becoming friends with family members of people. Diana Ross and Barry Gordy's oldest daughter. I love her to know in Rhonda Ross, and just to know, I'm cool with her. And, all of that is just real interesting to me, because no one would have never thought in a million years I'd be cool with the eldest daughter of an icon, two icons and legends.
wow. You have such a fascinating life. So you mentioned Oprah, and she's one of my role models, Oprah and Tyler Perry. I aspire to be like them when I grow up.
Yes.
Tell me, what was your toughest moment?
Oh my God. There's been quite a few. Being diagnosed with cancer and not being really familiar with the effects of leukemia, that was one, and having to deal with that. The transition from various media positions. There's been quite a few things, but as I always say, we count it all joy and we just persevere and trudge forward, and know that there's a grand prize somewhere at the end of all of this, I guess. So,
Mhm, mhm.
but that's the way, you just have to look at it, like keep moving forward, even when it's times are low, you just continue to keep moving forward.
And I asked those two questions back to back because oftentimes we look at somebody's life. Like I could look at your life and be like, oh my God, I want to be just like Art. He's interviewed all of these great people and been around all of these great people. And then, when you go to the toughest moments, you'd be like, wow, he had to endure that, and that
Hmm.
comes out
Hmm.
with people. And so when we start the whole envy thing, it's like, what is that they say? You can't, somebody walking a mile in your shoes. People want
That's right.
your end result, but they don't want the journey that got you there. So yeah,
Right.
those are toughest. Now, you know that I'm known for relationship discussions as well, just like
Hmm.
you. And so I would be remiss if I did not ask a few relationship questions. So are you
Okay.
are you single?
No, not really. That's
That is such a
interesting. No.
Scorpio answer. That's such a Scorpio
Yeah,
answer.
no, not really. Mm-mm. No, I recently met someone. Actually, tomorrow will make 30 days that we've been hanging out, and
Okay.
it's been the best 30 days ever. And I laughed about this the other day before I went into surgery. I'm like, damn, I've been to the hospital twice. My friend has been to the hospital once, but we've had 8 dates in the last what will be 30 days. And I'm like, oh, how wonderful is that? So it's been interesting, but yeah, it kind of, yes, it's been good. Let me just put it like that. Hopefully it'll continue.
Okay. And I have a couple follow-up questions to that. So what was it about this person that made them the one?
Oh, that's funny. We are in the probation stage right now, so we both said, this is the probation period. We had actually met prior to, and ran into each other at something, and I kind of was like, oh, yep, I'm kind of single, and they were like, oh, and it's just been the time and the commitment that's been putting in. I mean, who goes and sits at a hospital for hours with somebody if they really not are interested in them, and who worries and who's concerned, and who changes their schedule and kind of make adjustments for somebody if they're not really interested. So it's actually been really good to see the adjustment we both have made to be able to spend time with each other.
Okay. And so what do you find is the biggest challenge of relationships, and how do you handle it?
Ooh, that's interesting. The biggest challenge of relationships is honesty, the commitment factor, and the honesty, the commitment factor, and the where do we see ourselves at this point. I look at it like this. In any relationship, I want to be able to spend 4 seasons with you. After I spend 4 seasons with you, that'll give me an indication of whether or not we are really meant to be with each other. And a lot of people say, 4 seasons, what do you mean? Okay, so I met this person the end of summer, or actually fall. So I need to go through fall, I need to go through winter, I need to go through spring, and I need to go through summer with you. And if I'm able to go through all of that and still have a great time, we still love and understand each other, then I think it's time for us to move in a different direction.
Okay. All right. Then that sounds pretty good. That I agree with that, going through all 4 seasons. There's a movie about that as well. So now I want to dig into your memory of your events. What is one of your most memorable moments from the relationship chats and events? And by the way, I have to mention that Khalid Scott and Gina Lamar, they both love you. They do a show on the station as well, and they both love you. Khalid said that you gave him a nickname at one of the events. And of course, I know you love Gina because she's been on the show when I was on the show as well. Okay, so I just had to throw that in there. So tell me about
Thank you. Oh boy, it's been a lot of moments. I mean, from having Heather Hunter, a famed adult film star, I gave her a birthday party one year. Oh. And people came out in droves to see her, and she came in a very classy, elegant woman, and we had a conversation to talk about her life and who she was and her background. So being honored to have Heather Hunter at a discussion was great. I don't know if you remember J.L. King. He was the one that wrote the book about men on the down low. Okay. I hosted a conversation with him, and I'll never forget the night we did that. The weather was just horrific, and women stood in line for an hour just to get in. The line was down the block, and that propelled him to be on the Oprah show. After doing that, Cheryl Burton came and turned it over to Oprah's people, and so there have been a lot of great moments. People that have gotten up and said that they've met their mates there. People who have had lifelong friendships. It's been just a lot of great memories. And it's so funny because when people re-meet me, or I go somewhere now and people say, oh, I remember, and they'll say where it was. And I'm like, oh my God, you remember me from where? And they'll say, oh, it was at Us and Soul Place. And I was like, oh my God, that was years ago. So it's been a lot of just great, great memories. It has, and even when I traveled and did the chats, and, so it's been a lot involved with making a relationship chats work.
So where did you travel? I didn't know that you traveled with the Chats. Where did you travel to?
Oh, quite a few different places. Orlando, Cleveland. They were featured at various expos and events. Um, Phoenix. Where else has the chat taken place? Memphis. So, it just depends on where it was and who was doing the event and who brought me in to conduct, relationship conversations and interviews.
Okay, that is great.
Mhm.
And you are certainly a legend in your own time. How do you feel about that title?
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Look, all right. Thank you. Right. Thank you.
And I
All
know
right.
you've
Whatever,
received a
whatever.
bunch of awards and recognitions. What are some of the awards and stuff you've received? Because
Oh
I
my
read you're
God.
always getting awarded or recognized or honorable
I've
something for something.
I've received all type of accolades and kudos. I think 2 years ago, I received an award from the Gospel Music Radio Announcers Association, which I thought that was just uh, really, I was taken back a little bit, but it lets me know that, the gospel world appreciated me and thought I was, worthy of receiving that honor. And so, that was great. I've received numerous accolades from various groups. So, I'm always appreciative. I think the biggest thing, too, is that I'm an ambassador for Americans with Disability. Disability Lead is the organization, and I'm a 2019 fellow and ambassador. So, I mean, it's all great. I appreciate all of it. So, cannot, neglect any of it and very humbled by all of the honors.
So talk a little bit about that disability league. What is that organization about? What does that focus on?
So, Disability Lead is an organization that stands up for those that have disabilities, those who acquire disabilities, and those who you may not even know that a person has a disability. It's a group that supports people that they are able to be treated fairly in the workplace, in social and civic settings. It's an advocacy group, and it's really a wonderful organization. A lot of times people don't realize you don't have to be born with a disability. It can be something that you acquire. HIV and AIDS is a disability. Blindness is a disability. Hearing loss is a disability. Whatever it is that makes you not, where you should be, or again, you could be in a car accident and something happens to you and you are newly disabled. So it's a support group to help people with disabilities.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about your journey with cancer, when you found out about it and how it changed or did not change your life and lifestyle?
Oh boy, it changed quite a bit. Being diagnosed with leukemia is not an easy task. Leukemia is a cancer of the blood. My biggest thing was to try to find me people or men my age, my color, that have gone through the same battles, or have went through it and could explain what would go on. I could not find very many that were involved in groups and organizations. The medicine I was taking was $10,000 a month, so that was a
What?
whole. It was 10 G's a month.
Holy but Jesus, what?
The copays were 900 a month.
Oh my God.
So it was, just a lot involved with that. Just a really weird time in my life, but I'm beyond that. I am in remission and, a cancer
Yes, thank
survivor,
goodness.
but it just was not an easy journey. Trust and believe me, it was just a mess.
So what
So
led to
yeah,
you even finding out what was going on? Like, what were the signs? What made you how did you find out?
I had a lot of, I had a lot of fatigue, uh, just couldn't rest well, pain. Really, I thought I had caught a really, really bad cold. And when my, doctor actually told me that they thought it was, more than that, I said, really? And they said, yeah. And, my doctor at the time was a dear, dear friend of mine. And when he, said to me, he said, listen, he said, I think you may have leukemia. And I said, what? And he had tears in his eyes. And I
Oh,
was like, what are you talking about? Because we were really good friends. And he was like, yeah, just unbelievable. He said, I need you to go and get it checked out. And sure enough, that's what it was. And, I was like, Lord have mercy. So, and that's what it was. I, had leukemia.
wow.
So, yeah. So,
Okay, we're gonna switch it a little bit. I want to get into a little bit of a controversial conversation. You may know where I'm going with this. So I want to talk about Dave Chappelle and
okay.
his comments. What did you think about it, and what do you think about the response?
Dave Chappelle is a comedian, and he's always been a comedian. I respect his work. His comments about the transgender community is his opinions and his thoughts. I've gotten in a little trouble as well too, because I tell people, just because you're a member of the LGBTQ community does not mean you are co-signing everything that happens. But you also have got to look at my age and look at, I'm very conservative. The person I'm currently dealing with is much younger and more liberal about things. And that's, I think, what's making our relationship work, is that this person is explaining to me how things are working now. I have to explain all the time, I came from a period where you didn't do that, or you didn't act like that, or you didn't, where my friend now is like, bam, here I am. And I'm like, damn, what? So I have to wrap my mind around it. I have to be like, oh, okay, all right, So, I just, interesting to say the least. I hope they work it all out. I have much love and respect for the transgender community. I have quite a few friends and colleagues who are transgender. I'm all about love. Love is love. Be who you want to be. But I also would be very careful at picking at people. But keep in mind that comedians, that's what they do. They
Right.
go after various people. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. What did you think about the entire situation?
So I thought pretty much the same thing that you thought. He's a comedian and he talks about everybody, like most comedians do. They talk about everybody. And I thought it was, so to me, if you want to be equal, you are going to be equal. And we all equally, comedians talk about people with disabilities. They talk about Black people. They talk everybody. Everybody is fair game. Life is fair game for a comedian. That's what they talk about. And that is part of life. If you are in the LGBTQ, you said plus community?
Right. Yes. LGBTQ plus community.
And
Yes.
what does the plus encounter? What does that entail? The plus.
Child, look, it's too early in the morning. I ain't had my coffee yet. I know the last gentleman. I know the last gentleman said we shouldn't have no coffee, but again, and I may have to have me and my new friend back on, and because again, good at all of that. Good at all that. And look, I hope I don't lose my LGBTQ plus card.
Right. They gonna take your card.
Right. Please, y'all, don't take it. Don't
You're
take
gonna be
it. Don't take
canceled.
it. Right. Please don't. I still love, what I love.
So
But I have to learn. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of, I tell people it's already enough being a Black man. It's already enough trying to stay on top of world issues and all that, but then I gotta also make sure I keep my gay card intact. So
right.
that's a whole nother thing.
And that kind of, as you were talking, so you have even noticed that there's been a change over time.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Yes. Oh yeah. Just the acceptance, the difference in how people think about things. Oh, you gotta realize I have had male friends of mine, and I'm talking about my hardcore male friends, have called me, and when they call me, I almost tell people it's the cutest thing ever, because they'll say, Art, my wife and I want to know if you can come over and have dinner with us one evening. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh, this strange. This dude ain't never, we cool and all, but okay, what is this about? Then I'll get to the house, and as we sitting there having dinner, I'll instantly pick up on it. And then the conversation will get to going, and they'll be, well, Art, what are you saying? What do you think? And so I am Uncle Art to a lot of people's children that are questioning themselves, or children that have decided, this is what they want to do. And I've even had to explain to the parents, like, listen, this is a different world for me now. This is so different, so, I tell people, join support groups, and I appreciate my friends for their liberalness and their wanting to help their children. But I have a lot of friends that you'd be surprised. Their fathers are hardcore gangbangers, drug dealers, athletes, all of that. And, of course, like Dwayne Wayne and Gabrielle Union. And, these people have got to, love and appreciate their children, but they oftentimes need somebody to talk to about the particular situation, So,
Okay, I have two more questions on the topic since we've been talking. They just came up.
Okay.
So how old were you? Because you mentioned their children. How old were you when you figured out that women weren't the thing?
That's funny because my new friend and I laugh about that all the time. A freshman year in college.
Okay. And so prior to college, did you date women? Did prom?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to prom, all of that. Yes. Matter of fact, I was the guy everybody took to prom. I went to more
sure.
proms than it. Right. I went to more proms than anything. I love getting dressed up. So yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this story because it's kind of funny. So when I was in high school, I dated that guy too. He dressed, he danced, he was so popular. All the girls wanted him, but I was the one dating him. And Art, he is gay now.
Yep.
We never actually did anything, but when I saw him again, I was like, okay,
right.
That's interesting.
Right. Yeah. No, any young lady that didn't have a prom date, any young lady whose dad, had a good car and he trusted me or whatever, I was able to drive the car and take the girl to prom. So I went to many proms. But, like even my new friend now, he and I laugh. He was like, oh, you've had some yada yada. And I was like, yeah. He was like, see, I've never had any yada yada. You know what I mean? Okay. Yada yada. And I said, oh, wow. He was like, that's questionable. I'm like, questionable? Like, I've been gay long, right? Like, what? Right? Like, I said, but you have to realize two different societies. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that's very interesting that we even are talking about this, because I just had this conversation recently. Like, yeah, because you have to realize this society nowadays, they know what they are and what they want, and they not going. Back in our day, you had a lot of people hiding and dodging and not telling the truth. And to this day, I know several people who really probably would live a much better life if they opened that closet and came on
out. It would always be better if they did, because you are free to be yourself. I have a different thought process. So we are spirits, and we're so everybody's here on their own journey. And I think a lot of the depression and suicide and all of that kind of stuff and illness sometimes comes from people holding all of that stuff in. You just have to be who you are, regardless of. And I think society as a whole, we do have to learn acceptance. And acceptance is not just of, the gay community or whatever, but acceptance is just because people are different than you. Maybe somebody believes something different than you, or maybe somebody weighs something different than you, or, whatever the case might be. Our society is not very accepting, and we need to be more accepting is what I think.
Well, you have to realize we came from a lot of strict religious beliefs.
Yes.
We came from a lot of social ignorance. We came from a lot of just things. It's okay for a man to beat his wife, be an alcoholic, and cheat and do all that. But when somebody want to love somebody of the same sex and try to grow and have a great relationship, that's sad. That's shameful. That's I don't know. Interesting to say the least.
And I don't understand that, because why would I even care who you having sex with?
Right.
I don't even know why I would care. So my last question along that is, do you think that people are born homosexual, or do you think that it's a choice?
You know what? That's interesting. That's been a question that people have asked me for a number of years. The good old house music song says I was born this way. I don't know. I just know that the first time it ever happened to me, that I fell in love with somebody and we just were inseparable. And the first time I even ventured down the thing, I was like, well, you know who I, and this is way before pagers, cell phones, all of that. Look, that's how prehistoric I am.
Me
I
too.
said, well, if you like me, you know where I live at, come back, whatever. And the next day, my mother was like, oh, your friend is in the den. And I was like, what? And we started developing and stayed together. And it was just the most loving, nurturing relationship. And it went on from there. So I don't know. I feel like this. If you love me, I'm gonna love you in return. So, you know.
Yeah, that's always a debate whenever it comes up. I'm of course very open to any discussions. And my mother-in-law, so clearly she had kids. I married her son. My mother-in-law was married to my father-in-law for over 20 years. They had 3 kids and they got divorced, and then she became a lesbian. And at the age I was when I started, getting involved in that family, that confused the hell out of me. I'm like, how do you do that? Because then that almost seems like it's a choice. But I think even more so, it's like because she was older, of course. She's older than me and you, because that was my mother-in-law.
Right.
And
Right.
so I believe it was more so the situation we just talked about, where people kind of had to hide who they really were and just conform to society's expectations. Because business-wise, she was very successful. She was the vice president of Buffalo University. And she was an attorney. So in order to maintain that status at that time in our society, I think she almost had to be married with children. You know what I'm saying?
I was talking to somebody recently who told me a story about a woman who she knew she liked women when she was young. And because of when this was, they ended up having to institutionalize her and because of her desires of wanting to be with women. And when she finally got out the institution, she was like, oh my God, women are allowed to wear pants now.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Like, you never in a million years would have thought, like, you got to be kidding me. You know what I'm saying? And that's, what it was. She was like, yeah, women are now wearing pants. And you think, oh Lord, you have to just, when you really think about our upbringing, who we are, how much we've had to hide, I think now is probably the most liberating time ever for any and all of us, whether black, white, gay, straight, whatever the case may be. But I also think we're living in some of the most volatile times ever as well, too.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a question just in general, because, you are the relationship person. You are our chat daddy Sims live on the show. And so I want to ask, so I'm going to do a podcast later on in November about the evolution of relationships. So I just kind of want to ask you, do you feel, I know you feel that relationships have evolved from what they were before to what they are now, because they just have. But do you think this evolution has been for the better or for the worse?
Which evolution? The evolution that we're currently faced with?
With the the state of dating and relationships now. Because, dating is definitely different than it used to be.
I think it's the worst ever. I think, whether it was boy meet girl, boy meet boy, whatever. I have witnessed in the 80s people meeting each other and getting married. I've witnessed people doing acts of kindness and love, and over the course of the years, we've seen these divorce cases. I mean, who is that? Dr. Dre. Grandmother recently died, and the ex-wife gonna serve the divorce papers at the grandmama's burial. And it
I read that. That's
right. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, relationships now are just such big business, and relationships are just so just disjointed, and people I just think are, oh, let me just do this to do it. No, I believe in love, happiness, love ever after. I really don't, again, even in my new situation, I'm like, listen, if somebody else come along and you want to go holler at them, be with them, whatever, go on. Please just don't hurt me. Just don't take nothing and just don't lie on me. Other than that, do you, because I'm not going to be out here trying to break my neck to please nobody in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, ain't going to happen.
I've been very disappointed just reading lots of the stories, and I know that some women will hate me they do hate me when I say it, and they probably under their breath call me a pick me, but I think everybody knows that I'm certainly not a pick me because I don't pick a whole lot of people myself. But this whole thing now where women require a man to get her hair and nails and feet done before she'll even go on a date with him. And the first time I read that, I thought they were lying until a couple guys that I personally know. One guy just a couple weeks ago when I was talking about it, he said the girl sent him a text message and told him to cash app her so that she could get ready for the date. What do you think about stuff like that?
Now that's so interesting that you said that. I here's the deal. Whatever it is that you do to maintain yourself, excuse me, I feel that's your responsibility. I really do. Whatever you do to maintain yourself, that's you. Now, if somebody is kind enough to pay for you to get your feet and nails and hair done or whatever, that to me is the cutest gesture ever. The funniest thing is my new friend actually paid for me to get a manicure pedicure recently, and I was like, wow, like, oh my god. But my friend was like, listen, I'm a nurturer like that. I was like, well, that's really nice of you, and I'll return the favor. But I really, I don't know. I don't, I tell people heterosexual relationships are so different than gay relationships. I want you to just be nice. I want you to, I think reciprocity plays a huge part in the relationship, because here's the deal. If I'm paying to get your hair done, your feet and nails done, I'm sure most men, heterosexual and probably homosexual, gonna want them some yum yum at the end. I'm
Okay.
surprised. I'm sure they want to smash it. I'm sure they want to break your back out. All of that. And the thing is that I don't think that's necessary. I really don't. I really, really. I mean, again, if you got it like that and want to take care of somebody, that's fine. But what was you doing before this person came into your life?
Exactly.
Right.
And to me, it has to be, you were saying that you feel like the relationships are different. I think it's the people and how they're raised, because for me, I don't need anybody to do that kind of stuff. For me, it's about the connection that you have from person to person. Do I actually like the person? If they offer to do something, then that's all good. But this whole requiring people to do something that takes the fun out of it to me on both sides. That's crazy.
No, no. The cutest thing ever is right now. Even with our date nights or whatever, it's like, okay, let me show you something that I know, and let me show you something that even my friend, I go to a particular certain nail salon. My friend was like, I go to this nail salon. I was like, well, I don't know about all that. And he went in, made sure I was happy, and they did a great job. All that, he sat there and watched them and all that. I was like, oh my God, but it's a give and take. But I wouldn't require you to maintain me like that. No, because
Right.
I have to maintain myself. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I don't get that. I don't care whether it's a heterosexual or a homosexual relationship. It's like, look, whatever you do, boo, to make sure you look good, boo, you need to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Now, if we doing a spa day or I'm treating you to a massage or something like that, that's a different story. But no, I want you to take care of yourself. That's kind of why I was attracted to you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
do you have any upcoming events? I know that you have an appearance on, what is it, Daytime Chicago, but do you have any upcoming events, and when is your next appearance on Daytime Chicago?
I don't know when the next one on Daytime Chicago will be. I'm just so grateful to the ladies for having me on as many times as they've had since the show's inception, since September. I'm on hiatus from my show. It won't be back until November 8th. We'll be kicking off Veterans Week, with conversations about veterans and survivors and things like that. Other than that, nothing that I really know of. I just hosted my first in-person gala and virtual broadcast not this past Saturday, but Saturday before last, and that was great. Other than that, nothing. I'm just, as they said, chilling. I have a birthday coming up, and I usually like to be in the front of some ocean for my birthday. So, but other than that, that's, kind of me laying low, especially with this procedure I just had. I got to take things slow. If I do something, it'll, be maybe one appearance and limited of what I can do. But other than that, I'm okay.
Okay. And what's the name of your show that's on hiatus?
The Real Chat Daddy Show, which airs nightly via social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. It's at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Real Chat Daddy Show. And we talk about top news stories, the latest COVID-19 update. Every night we have different guests. We're on Monday through Wednesday night. And we have from noted doctors, entertainers, authors, you name it. It's a news variety entertainment show that takes place live 3 nights a week.
Okay. So do you have any final words for my listeners out here?
No, I just thank everybody. I appreciate you. Who knew that an interview this early in the morning would be so much fun? And I'm only halfway through my cup of coffee, and I was listening to the guy that came on before me, and I'm like, "You's a lie. I need that cup of coffee. I'm sorry. I need that cup of coffee. I really do." And I probably have lost at least 6 pounds since surgery because I've not had anything to eat since Thursday.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I have no appetite. So
Really?
I'm sure when I go back for the follow up, I probably have lost 10 pounds by then. But other than that, no. I'm just happy for you. This has been really refreshing today to get up and talk to somebody, and we've incorporated a little bit of everything in my life in this conversation today. And I just wish you continued success, and you keep doing the doggone thing.
All right. Well, thank you. That means so much coming from you. I think you were one of the first people that actually put me on the air really on the air at the radio station in Chicago. And I definitely appreciate you for that. You are just one of my favorite people ever anyway. And you hurry up and get well. And I can't wait to see what body of water, because last year you went somewhere and I thought you had moved. Was you in Paris?
No. That was so funny. It was actually, people thought I had moved to Hawaii this past July because I was in Hawaii for almost a month.
Yeah.
Right. People was like, "Damn, did you move to Hawaii?" And I was like, "Well, kind of, sort of, no." But I was almost in Hawaii for a month. And the only reason why I came back from Hawaii is I'm a huge news junkie. My friend laughs about this now. I love watching the news. And in Hawaii, I was looking at the news every day, and they were like, "Oh, there are only 30 cases of COVID." Because I went to Hawaii before they had lifted all the COVID restrictions, because I had to jump through all these hoops to get to Hawaii. And as we're watching the news, they had lifted the restrictions. And they said, "Yes, we welcomed 38,000 people to the island of Hawaii in one day." And I looked at my friends and I said, "Lord," I said, "they done lifted the restrictions." We tried to make dinner reservations, couldn't get any. Then we tried to do something else, couldn't get any. And then 2 days later, they come talking about them COVID cases had jumped from like 30 to 90 to 100. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to get back on the other side of this island. So that's what made me come back. But yes, I was in Hawaii almost a month. Yes.
Man, yeah, I was enjoying your pictures, but I was like, did he leave us? He's just not coming back. So do you have plans to be in front of a body of water? So when actually is your birthday?
My birthday is November 16th.
Okay.
And we trying to figure it out now. We try. Look, I was saying to the doctor before the surgery, I was like, how long is the recuperation, and how soon can I fly? And he was like, "Well, how far are you trying to go?" And I was like, "I don't know." And so when I go back to see him next week, then hopefully he'll be able to give me a better timeline. And the way I look at it, the closest beach I could get to with sunny, warm weather would probably be a 3 hour to 3.5 hour flight. So we'll figure it out at that point, but we'll see. Yes.
Okay, well, I know that I will get to say happy birthday to you on your birthday. So I hate when
Yes.
people say, just in case I don't talk to you, like, how come we all on Facebook?
Right. Don't be trying to tell me nothing I don't. Right. Don't scare me now. Right. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Scorpio season. Oh my goodness.
Yes, it is. And I'm looking forward to having you back on my show at the beginning of the year so we can talk zodiac signs as you always do. You do a great job with that. So
Oh yeah.
start getting to work on that. Look, you've been given an assignment.
Okay. I've
Yes.
been given an assignment by
That's
Cat
right.
Daddy, and I
That's
am going
right.
to definitely fulfill that assignment with flying colors, you know.
Yes, very good.
Okay, well, you enjoy the rest of your day and recuperate, and I shall
Okay.
talk to you soon.
All right. For more information about me, you guys, please visit therealchatdaddy.com. Therealchatdaddy.com.
Okay, I forgot to do that. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you
That's
threw
all
that
right.
in.
Yes, I know what to do.
Yes, you definitely know what to do. I'm glad you got that going.
Yes. All
All
right,
right.
honey.
All
I
right.
love you much.
I
Thank
love you
you.
too. Yes, thank you.
Everybody be well. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Art Chat Daddy Sims. What a great conversation. And we always have a great conversation when we're hanging out, whether it's his show or my show or just no show. We just run into each other. It's always a great time with Art, one of my favorite people. As he said, you can catch him on therealchatdaddy.com. So make sure that you check him out. And I am still looking for correspondence to do the What's Hot segment. Now, you guys come on. I know that some of y'all know what events are going on in your city, and we want to know too. So I'm looking for correspondence in Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, Miami, New York, New Orleans, LA, and Vegas for the What's Hot segment. Our listeners and the potential visitors to those cities want to know what's hot for the weekend. If you are a promoter in either of those cities and would like to zoom in on Thursdays, just on Thursdays, please visit my Facebook page, Xavier Fox, to get the Zoom in information. And I did mention my monthly podcast is scheduled for November 21st from 3 to 4 p.m. And we will discuss the evolution of relationships. Do they suck or not? Well, anyway, we will present the men's point of view and the women's point of view. It will air live on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel, X Fox on the Box, which will be renamed soon, and it will be Xavier Fox Media. So if you type in X Fox on the Box and you don't get it there, then just go to Xavier Fox Media, and that should probably pull it up. So visit my YouTube channel and click subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming podcasts, and you can watch the shows you've not seen yet. I did host a internet talk show for 3 years. There's 186 great shows on that channel, and you might want to check them out. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn as Xavier Fox. That's XAV as in Victor, IAFOX, Xavier Fox. My book, The Men in My Life and What I've Learned, is available on Amazon in Kindle format and paperback, but you can also purchase an autographed copy on my website, xavierfox.com. Be sure and visit my website for information on all upcoming shows and events, as well as merchandise such as t-shirts and coffee mugs. You probably didn't even know I had those. So I am signing out till the lunchtime talk on Thursday from 12 to 2 with guest host Miss Rita Stewart, and we'll find out what's hot for the weekend. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you go to the App Store and download the app Astute Gentleman Cigar Radio. So until Thursday, stay safe and be prosperous.